Can I just move on to the whole sort of gender split? You talked about it as far as your presenters go, as far as diversity, female, ethnic minorities, etc. Obviously,
Yeah.
BBC, I think Sky would say the same. Most broadcasters talk about the 50-50 split as far as guests go. Whether
Yeah.
it's formally or informally, sort of, will Times Radio be taking a similar stance to the guests it has on?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, when I took over the TLS, just as an example, it was 80-20 male female contributors. And then for the last 3 years, it's been 50-50. And I think this year at the moment, it's slightly 52-48 in favor of women. So if you're inheriting a tradition that I did, you've got to work really hard to change that, because people get the same people, and therefore it's quite hard to shift. We're starting again afresh. But yeah, I mean, funny enough, we've got an event in the business with the Culture Diversity Network within News UK tomorrow to discuss this point. We've got to keep saying it to ourselves. It's no use just sort of saying we'll try and then leave it to yourself. My experience of the TLS, you've got to really commit to it. And so everyone who's working on it is aware of that, and they will commit to it. And we've just got to make sure that that works. And we'll be using Times people, so some of it's reliant on who the Times people have, but that's not an excuse. We can't just give that to ourselves as an excuse. We've got to make sure that we think about that all the time. Not least because, again, I'm a big believer in audience. Audiences need to be able to hear people like them. They need to be able to hear people who have some connection to them, whatever that might be. If you only have a station of blokes, why would a woman listen to it? I'm not saying that I don't really believe in female and male subjects. I don't really like that idea. I like the idea of men and women equally contributing to something, because I think when you get that, you'll end up with an audience that splits the right way. And we've got to build an audience. We want 100% of people to be able to listen to this, or to be inclined to listen to this, at least in theory, and then start working from there.
I think what's interesting, probably for the audience to hear, is that if you're offered, on a given subject, if you are offered, on paper at least, a white middle-aged man, or a woman, or somebody who's ethnically diverse, and again, let's be clear, you're probably judging that on names and paper. Are you likely, therefore, to take the female guest or the ethnically diverse guest?
I think that's the wrong way of thinking about it, because I think you've got to think about it across the whole network and across the day. You've got to get the person that you most want to speak to. But equally, I know this from various things, that this is true of book reviewing. It's true if you talk to producers of radio stations. If you call a man up, they'll generally say yes. And they'll say, even if they don't know anything about it, they'll say, oh yeah, I can do that, I'll do that. If you call a woman up and ask it, sometimes they'll say, I'm not sure I'm the right person to do this. It's a generalization, and I'm sure it's changing, but that's what we would talk to a radio producer, they would say. The answer to that isn't just to go to the guy who's going to say yes. The answer is to work harder to find the right people, and work out who the right people are and get them. And if it's not that person, think of someone else and get them. I don't want to think about it as saying, what if you do that, you see, you don't have to worry about the white middle-aged man not having him, because you're confident that across the piece, across your show, across your network, you're getting a wide range of people. And then you can genuinely choose based on what is right for that particular story. The problem you get to is if you're constantly worried about an imbalance and having to hit a quota to correct the imbalance, you make decisions that you otherwise wouldn't make. If you start with a good faith and the proper intention and the commitment, it should free you up to go for the right people, because the right people in the round will be 50-50 male-female, for example, because you're doing it with the right way. You're not saying, well, we've had lots of men, we better find a woman. You say, we want the right people, and that's 50-50. And that's, of course, it should be 50-50, because otherwise, it's mad to think it wouldn't be.